So this is session 6. The last session is entitled Breakfast on the Beach. It was a little bit longer content-wise, but hopefully it is of some help. I'd like to start off with just an overview, because the disciples just really didn't know what to do with themselves, after Jesus' death and then the word of his resurrection. And because he'd been crucified, they all scattered all across the country. Most of them headed back to Jerusalem, where they were originally from. And Peter had denied Jesus 3 times, standing by a charcoal fire in the courtyard, if you remember the trial. And then warming his hands while the man he loved was on trial. And now it's morning. The scene is morning. They're on the shore of the Sea of Galilee, and the disciples have gone back to what they had known before, and before this all started, which was fishing. Most of them were fishermen. And they saw this figure. They were out on their boat fishing. They'd been fishing all night and hadn't caught a thing. Kind of like Steve's fishing trip, I guess. Hadn't caught anything. And they saw this figure on the shore. And it was a far away, so they didn't really recognize who it was. He calls out to them and says, "Hey, cast your net on the other side of the boat." And so they did. And if the net filled up with so many fish, it's reported how it was kind of tried to almost get capsized because there's so much fish that they had caught. And John still was watching that figure over there on the shore. And John and Jesus were very close. They were very close. And he said, "That's Jesus. That's Jesus over there." And of course, they were so excited. And Peter, he throws himself into the water and starts headed for the shore. And so when they reached the beach, they found that Jesus had also built a charcoal fire.
Now, charcoal, why didn't they just use wood? Why a charcoal? Well, that's extra.
I think because of the heat. I'm guessing it would be better with the coals of the charcoal to cook the fish. I'm assuming that's why they did that. But he gave us a lot of detail about this. It wasn't kind of accidental. So, and the last charcoal fire in the gospel was John in Caiaphas' courtyard, where Peter stood warming his hands, as I said that before. So Jesus built the fire that looked like one where Peter had failed, and there was fish on it already and bread. And he was making breakfast. And he says, come to breakfast. And you've heard me say before, it's one of the reasons I like having the Friday morning breakfast. It's remembering Jesus' act. Come and have breakfast. Come have some fellowship. Now, they came. And this is how the resurrection kind of announced itself in John's gospel. Not with a theological lecture, not with a dramatic appearance in the sky, the big figure up in the sky coming down, shining, but with a charcoal fire on the beach. Fish glowing in the morning. And an invitation to sit down and eat. And after breakfast, Jesus asked Peter 3 times. Remember now the 3 times that Peter had denied him. Jesus now asked him 3 times. He says, "Do you love me?" Peter responds, "No. Do you love me?" Peter responds, do you love me? And Peter says 3 times. And he says, feed my sheep. Tend my lambs. Follow me. And that's kind of how the restoration started at the table, over breakfast, around the fire. It reminds me when we went camping recently, it's one thing we always try to do, is have a fire. Sit around the fire, visit, we share meals, we have breakfast together, dinner together. The way that Jesus would want us to have fellowship with others. So we've been on this table, if you will, for 6 weeks now or more, because some of the differences between we meet every week. And we watched Jesus feed the 20,000, and who the disciples wanted to send away. We watched him honor a woman the whole room had condemned. We watched him run after both the son who left and the son who refused to come in. And we watched him cross a 600-year-old boundary to speak with a woman at the well. And we watched him take the most sacred meal in his people's history and blow it wide open for everybody. And now we are here. We're on the beach. We're at breakfast. Maybe we have brownies here. But the reason Jesus, who builds fires and he cooks fish and he restores the broken ones, with something as simple and profound as a shared meal. This table has always been where Jesus is most himself. It's where he sees people no one else sees waiting. And it's where he says the things no one else is willing to say. You belong here. You're loved. Come and eat. So as we go through this final session, I want to ask you one question. How has this study changed how you sit down to eat with your family, with the congregation, maybe with the person that you've kind of kept at a distance? Because this is the whole point. It's not just about knowing more about Jesus at the table. It's to become what we did when we ate. So come, let's have breakfast. And let's begin.